until I hit my last breath. Music's everlasting even if past death. Not overacting, music's never past tense. Colliding with the greats, welcome to this crash test.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the BringTheBars podcast. This is episode 32 with Bobby Mercer, the top BTB album winner. As you guys can tell, this is done through video, and I did the interview through video as well through Zoom. I went this route. I've been planning to do it for a while, but the reason I never did is I didn't know Zoom too well. And the show, it was just intended for radio, so they didn't need video. I just always had to send in MP3s. I decided to change that because a lot of you guys are tuning in on YouTube, which I greatly appreciate, and so do the artists who are on the show. You get to know them a little better, get to hear their music. So we're going to switch the routine of this. The interview will be done from now on in video for any future guests. The radio will play the music of the guest, but on the YouTube video from now on, it's just going to showcase the interview itself. It won't showcase the actual music, but all the links will be in the description below for the artist. So yeah, this is the very first one we're doing like this with Bobby Mercer. Figured it was fitting because he won the top BTB album. So we're going to get it started. I'm recording this after I already finished the interview with Bobby Mercer. And like I said, I'm new to Zoom, so I kind of screwed up a little bit on the interview. Nothing that's going to ruin the interview, but just to give you guys a heads up, I forgot to hit the record at the beginning of the interview. We were just talking. I totally forgot. Oh, damn, I got to hit record. So I just missed a little bit of the beginning. We're going to jump right in talking about his intro to the album, Murder by Numbers. So you won't see the actual intro of us say, hey, how's it going? That kind of thing. So I'll just jump right into me asking him about the first track off the album, the intro, Murder by Numbers. Another thing is that I had my mic plugged in, my good mic, but I had my headset on too, but I forgot to switch the microphone. So I used my headset mic, and it's not the greatest sounding mic. You can still hear everything clearly, but it's a little muffled here and there. So next time I'm going to remember, switch the microphone. Like I said, this is trial and error, but let's get to the interview. All right, guys, let's welcome Bobby Mercer to the BringTheBars podcast.
I'm going through it like right away off the jump. I like what you did too. And I don't do this in mine a lot, but I want to start doing it because I find it's kind of lost is the skits throughout the album. And you have yours started off with Murder by Numbers. And like, what made you want to jump it off? Because that's like, kind of sets the tone for the whole album. And it's kind of like a documentary newscast about a serial killer kind of on the loose. Mm-hmm. What made you want to start off with the Murder by Numbers?
Well, Murder by Numbers, one part is dirty math. So the numbers match with that.
Okay, yeah.
Also, I really wanted people to know that I'm out here trying to kill rappers. I'm out here trying to kill MCs. I'm out here just trying to run through this. So I'm a serial killer when it comes to this rap game. So I wanted to set the tone for that. This is no longer a game. I'm not playing with y'all. I mean all the things I'm saying. And test me. Please test me, because you will not come out of this nice.
You brought it, man, because right off the jump you got that, and then it's followed by Melee, and that song to me is still one of the biggest standout songs. I think you did it on the award show as well. When I was watching it with my girl, she was just, because she didn't check out a lot of you, and she goes, who the hell is this guy? Like, I'm gonna really tune in. She loved it, and so now you converted her to a Bobby Mercer fan 100%.
I'm not mad at that.
But with Melee too, you also had, what I find rare is you wrote featuring who was it, JB Ill, right?
Yep.
And he just did the cuts on it, and it's rare when somebody puts a feature for somebody who's not rapping on the track, and he cut that up perfectly. How did this connection with JB Ill come about for Melee?
I've known JB Ill for a long time. He's Oshkosh, Wisconsin's finest DJ. Probably, to me, probably one of the best DJs in the state of Wisconsin. Just watching him work and grow as a DJ has just been phenomenal. So that's something that I've been trying to do with him for a while. And then when I heard this song or heard this beat, then I wrote it, he was the first person I thought of. I'm like, he would do phenomenal on this. I hit him up, and then boom, He hit me with the work. So shout out to JBL. That's what's up. And that's why I put him as a feature, because it means a lot to me. And it is a lost art where people don't shout out
It's true.
that kind of work.
Yeah, it's true. And especially with like certain DJs and like cutting a track, you can tell that that's his influence on the track. So it was a perfect idea to put featuring JBL 100%.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. And I always love the cutting sounds. I love DJ scratches. I wish I can get that on more of my stuff, but I don't know a lot of scratchers in my area, but
Right.
I always love that sound 100%.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Because I wasn't trying to be chorus heavy with this album. And if it didn't have a chorus, I needed something to stand out instead of a chorus or a hook. So of course he gets his feature, and I love that. And then we're gonna work more together for sure.
That was actually one of the things I wrote in my notes listening to the album, is not a lot of hooks on the album.
No.
What was the reasoning behind that? You just wanted to showcase your bars and the storytelling, or like what was the reason? Was that a game plan even going in?
It was not a game plan. It literally was song for song. If I felt like it needed it, I put it in there. I really was trying to, it's like picking apples from a tree. You got to pick the right apple to make the perfect pie.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. I was, every song needed this or didn't need that. And then when I put it all together, that's what I came out with. So it was song by song that I decided that I needed or didn't need a hook or chorus.
Yeah. No, it turned out great. I loved it just because I found it showcased more of the storytelling aspect of your album and bars. And that's always what I loved in hip hop. Not that,
right.
A hook's always nice. Obviously, people can sing along to it. But when you're trying to tell a story, you can't tell it in a hook, in my opinion, compared to a verse.
Right.
So I loved how you did that. And then we go to your third track off the album, So Automatic, and that's what you were talking about earlier, one of the first ones you did. Bad Habit killed it as your feature on this.
Absolutely.
And you said this one was intended to be on Dirty Math. Like this is when you started really realizing, like, I want this on an album. So how did that inspiration come about for So Automatic?
The beat. Heard the beat. And I wrote my first verse, and I flipped the page to start writing my second verse, and then something just said, "Bing! You should have Habit on this." So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I hit him up, and he was like, "Yo, I would love to." He wasn't in Denver at the time, so he came out here on vacation and he recorded his verse, or we recorded the song together. And but that was the first. Other than Outpost 31, that was the first verse that I really wrote, knowing that it was going to go on Dirty Math. And that was supposed to be a darker part. That was going to be towards the end of the project. But then again, because it just developed the way it did, it wound up being at the top. It wound up being a lighter version or lighter song for the project.
Yeah, and I have to talk about Outpost 31. I was going to go track by track, but since you brought it up, I love the whole, the way that was mixed. Like it was all seemed like it was coming through a radio. Like, it was just so well done with the mix on that, man. Like, was that idea already set in? Like you wanted to mix it and have that sound? Or was it something you kind of just toyed with after and were like, wow, this sounds dope?
Also, Rob Sonic did his verse first. And so when he sent it to me, we didn't have a title for the song yet. So he just said Outpost 31. And I'm like, oh. And as soon as he said it, I was like, yep, I knew exactly what I want to do. It felt like a very winter, cold song. You're stuck in somewhere where there's snow for days. And so that's where that thought came from, to make it sound that way.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Like I said, it sounded like, well, with an Outpost, it's like almost people with the walkie checking in on the other one. Like,
yeah.
Beautifully mixed, man. Did you do the mixing on that yourself? Like for the whole
I did.
sound? Yeah.
I did, yes.
Oh, nice.
I'm not mad at that.
Not at all. And going on like the mixing start of it, or just the songs in general, what was like one track on this album where you found it most difficult to mix or to create? Like, did you have one that just took you so much more time than another one to kind of perfect it?
Two of them. Juice.
Yeah.
And actually, sorry, three. Juice was one. Dragon's Lair was one.
I had a feeling
and
Dragon's Lair was going to be on
yeah.
there.
And Land Rover. So
Yeah.
Land Rover was difficult for me for whatever reason. I could not get the sound that I wanted. So shout out to Jamal Shane. I sent it to him and said, hey, could you please mix this for me? And then he did. And it turned out exactly what I wanted and then some. So shout out to Jamal on that one. But Dragon's Lair was hard to mix.
I can imagine. That was the one that right when I asked you the question, I was like, I wonder if he's going to say Dragon's Lair.
Yep. Just so many moving parts in that. And then again, shout out to Jamal Shane for that hook, because it didn't have a hook. It didn't have a chorus or anything. So once it became more, because it was just going to be three, and then it became more, and 4 and 5 artists were on it. So I'm like, okay, it needs something in between that. So I'm like, Jamal, help me out, please. Yeah. And then he murdered it.
Yeah, he really did. How much of an impact did Jamal Shane have on your whole album for this Dirty Math?
Okay, so I love that question a lot. And what I mean by that is, because I've watched Jamal Shane for years with doing his music. And he's always been one of those guys that I'm like, gosh dang, how does he do that? I try it and it doesn't sound as right. It doesn't sound as good. So he only worked on the 2 tracks, but his influence on me was overwhelming. You know what I mean? It really helped me set a tone to allow me to be like, okay, I'm going to try to reach that with how he does things. So he doesn't know that, but he did influence how I went about doing things on this project.
Yeah, that's a big deal, because like you said, you just kind of, he might only did 2, but the way he would have produced it or mixed something, you kind of take notes, right? And you realize, like, how the hell did he do that? I want this sound,
right?
The whole thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jamal Shane is a pro. I just heard his Incandescent. We're going to shout out Jamal Shane right now, but the guy's incredible.
Oh, he is, for sure. And that album is phenomenal.
Yeah. And now we're going to go, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the name of the album with your track, Dirty Math. And that's another standout track. I'm going to keep saying that during every track. But
I'm okay with that.
Flow and everything on it, man, just perfect. And you were saying it started off with So Automatic, and I forget the other one. Sorry, that was starting off the album.
Outpost 31.
So you already had the idea of Dirty Math, the album, when you made the Dirty Math track, then?
No, Dirty Math, the track didn't come till later. I'm the type who likes to have a title track, but I wasn't going to force it. So that came later in the process. I think that might have been the 4th to the last song that I recorded, and was like, okay, this is Dirty Math. This is Dirty Math, as I was writing it, or recording it, writing it down. Because I had that beat for a little bit and I wanted to use it. I just didn't know what, and it just took its process. Okay, boom. All right, I'm feeling a little feisty today. Let me go ahead and write this.
Yeah, that turned, like, your flow on that. Your flow on a lot of stuff is you have a really unique standout flow. Like it's nothing like a lot I've heard, and I've heard a lot, man. And I'm saying that from the bottom of my heart. Like that just, it stands out, that flow too. Even when Pissed on your catalog, like the way you say it, the way it is, you know, it's right off the jump. It's like, oh shit, this is what Bobby's bringing.
Yeah. And thank you for that. Again, you can't have a title track with that grimy sound to it and then be not grimy. So I had to get grimy with it.
Exactly.
So I absolutely love that track.
Yeah, it seemed like once you knew the route you were going to take and you made the Dirty Math track, it's like you suited it for the album you had in mind. And it was It was perfect because I'm like you. On a lot of my albums, I don't think any of them I've released, I've actually had a title track based on the album. So it was like, and I know a lot of people do. And I think I've tried it with one when I did my Unmasked, but I didn't like the sound of it. I didn't like the mix. So I just dropped the track in general, but it happens.
Got you. Right. And also Dirty Math is special to me too, because if you know, you know. So the first two verses, I'm just going at. The third verse, I'm going at it, but I'm a huge fan of Denzel Washington. So I have a lot of his movie titles. I want to say 17 of his movie titles in that third verse.
Yeah, I know Denzel Washington. I caught a couple, but I couldn't have caught 17 on that third verse. Jesus.
That means I did my job. That means I did my job because you pay attention to the bars and not the movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
I wasn't thinking. At first, I was like, is he quoting some Denzel movies? And then you said, I'm going to have to re-listen to the third verse now and see if I can pick out all 17. And then that leads to, I believe it's track 4 or 5 on the album now, was Black Mafia. And the features got for that, Lyric Crop killed it, Bad Habit killed it. I love the hook of it that Bad Habit did on it as well. And I wanted to ask you, with your hook on your album, when you get a feature, do you write the hook for your feature, or do you let them just be them and bring the hook themselves?
I usually, for this one, he wrote. Now there's other songs that I've done that I wrote the hooks for, but he wrote this one. And when he heard the beat, he was like, I want to get on it. And I'm like, I can't let you get on it because you're already on So Automatic. You're already on Dragon's Lair. But then I'm like, all right, let me sneak him on, write a hook, and you can be on that way. Yeah. Because I really wanted Black Mafia to be a me feature me type of song.
Yeah, and it was Lyric Crop. Mad shout out to her. I've never checked out a lot of her other music besides yours. So if you drop me links to anything she has, or I guess she's on Spotify, I'd love to check it out because she's incredible.
I will drop you a link. And she had people in that crosshairs. Boy, she took aim and fired and killed everything.
Yeah, that whole
murdered that track.
Was one of the first tracks you sent me when we did the first interview with the play during the broadcast, and I was like, holy shit, this is what I'm expecting from this album right now.
Right.
that was incredible. And going on to your features, you had 2 guys I never actually heard of before. I never checked out. I want to check out, but On My Shit with Nick Corleone and Otis. Both of those guys did great on it. And I like the topic of the album, the track, because you're talking about like not fitting in, or certain people you thought were friends wanting handouts. Is this something you experienced a lot even before you were making music, trying to fit in, or fake friends, and did you experience it even more after you started releasing music?
Well, that was just something that has been throughout my life. I've always been that black sheep. I've always been the oddball. I've always been that guy. So because of that, every kid wants to fit in. Every kid wants to be liked. Yep. So I was like, I'm here. But it took a minute for me to figure out that you don't have to like me, and not everyone's gonna like you. And I shouldn't get my feelings hurt because you don't like me. It's just not your flavor. All right, cool. That doesn't make me a bad person. That's just your taste of people. I'm okay with that. So it was, again, growing up, it was just difficult to find friends and find people that were like me. Then when I started doing music was a thing. So then I found those people. But then even within those people, there's people you're like, oh, I don't even like those people because those people are fake. Those people are only talking to you because you can offer them something.
Yeah.
And then growing up, being where I'm at now in life, there's still people, whether it's in music or in just my personal life, that are like, they're only there because how you make them feel. They don't care about you. They just care about how you make them feel. And so I'm learning that. And so that's part of that song.
Yeah, it really hit with me because I was in the same boat. I never fit in a lot through my middle school, elementary school, and then in high school, I tried to fit in with the stoner kids. So I would smoke and then fit
Right,
in with the stoner kid. Oh, I
right.
got a group now. But like you said, even within that group of who you consider your people at that point,
Hmm.
you're gonna find the ones that are just, man, you're just not a good person. Like you just
Right,
it doesn't fit you. Like it doesn't fit your group. And
right.
like you said, when you're offering, if you got the weed, everybody's gonna be wanting to hang around with you, calling you the coolest guy in the world, and then the next day
Absolutely.
so yeah, it definitely happens. I like how you put it on a track. It really came through with me on that one, and it's
Oh, thank you.
and yeah, you made your point on it, and so did Nick Corleone and Otis. They brought it as
Yes.
well.
So that song came about. Nick Corleone came over to the crib. I played him the beat, and he freestyled that hook. He freestyled, and I was like, "Yo, that was fire." Then he did his verse, and then it inspired me to do it, to write that. And then Otis, one truly inspired soul, he came over to the new spot here at in the Dragon's Lair, and he recorded. And he doesn't do a lot of features, so that meant a lot to me that he not only wanted to do the feature, but he came over to my studio, and we sat here and we did that. It took him 10 minutes to do the verse, and we were talking for like 3 hours. So shout outs to Otis, one and truly inspired soul. That is my guy right there. I appreciate him, and his music is super dope.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you're talking about the features going to the Dragon's Lair, were most of your features done within the Dragon's Lair? Or did you get like through online and all that stuff, or were most of them done in-house in the lair?
Let me see. It was kind of half. Half were done here and half were done over the internet. Just because they're so far away and people are crazy busy, but
yeah,
I've
and the times too, like what we went through with this whole pandemic, it was probably hard to get people
right.
in. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And then here's, I love this too. I've met everyone that's a feature on the project except for one person, but I've known him for so long, and that's MC Hype. We've never met in person. We had an opportunity, and then things just did not work out. I had invited him to do a show, and he was driving out, him and his DJ, and they got robbed. So yeah, so he couldn't make it to the show. So he's the only one I haven't met, but it's like we brothers. I've known him for a long time. He's good people.
Yeah, that's my next goal through this, is to meet a lot of the guys within the BTB group. And yeah, like the next show I want to start after this one, like I've talked to you about, it's going to be starting now, getting this Zoom thing working out, but it's just like a hangout show where I want multiple guests. We can all just sit and shoot the shit, pour a glass of whiskey, roll a joint, do whatever you want, and we'll just all chat, kind of like an interview format, and get to know everybody as people. I think that would be a fun little concept, and I want you on it in the future, so I'll be hitting you up.
Of course. Casey, I got you, man. Whatever you need from me, I got you, man.
I love to do it. We'll bust up the whiskey one night, and we'll have a good chat.
Oh, I'm gonna bust out whiskey in a little bit here. I didn't want to be drinking while I was doing this yet, but I'm gonna.
This is uncensored. Do what you want. If you want to roll a joint, go for it. If you want to drink some whiskey, go for it. I actually got a little bit of my PBR right here at the bar.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, with what was I going on to here? We're going on to Gentrified. Am I saying that right? That title tripped me out when it first came out.
Yeah, Gentrified.
Okay, so what created that title? Because I honestly don't know Gentrified. Like, I don't know what the meaning of it is.
Okay, so gentrified is when, like, this is typically how it is. If you have a low income place and it's the people that live there are minorities.
Okay.
People will come in and buy the property, people with money, and then change the whole thing up. So it's no longer a hood or a ghetto. And then they make it a nice, pretty little place, and then they up the prices on everything. So they'll buy these homes or places for, $100, and then turn around and sell it for $100,000. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
That's what gentrified is. But gentrified, I wanted to be clear because, so that was the title of the beat. And I don't usually like to keep the title of the beat. I usually change them if I get them from somebody else. This one just stuck with me, and I'm like, I'm leaving it that way. And I knew right away what I want to talk about. So I left it gentrified because typically it is a Black and brown community. Speaking for myself as a Black person, fried chicken is a thing. So I left the gentrified to kind of give it a more oomph to the song.
And even with that song, I think that was the one you put the Obama clip in it. You had a couple like clips in throughout that song. What made you want to throw those clips in? Was that like a last minute decision? You already had it, like, I'm going to put insert, Obama talking here.
So the first one was Malcolm X. The second one was Martin Luther King. Then Obama, and the last one was Denzel Washington. That was something I knew I wanted to do. I just had to find the right clips that spoke on the song, the verses. So I had to do the verses first and then go and then look for the clips to fill in to make it make sense.
Yeah, and it worked out well. I like when people do that. That gives, to me, that's when I grew up, like it was such an underground sound when people would post in clips of like a movie or an actor or a president or Malcolm X, and it was just gives that underground feel. But I loved how you did it. One fan
thank you.
All the time of doing that was like Jedi Mind Tricks. I don't know if you know that duo, and they were really good at like inserting the clips, even as they're hooks. It was always just clips from something, and I love how that came about. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and again, like you said, it has that that grimy, not overproduced music feel to it, and so that's what I was really going for on that. When I did that hook, it
turned out great, and how you, like you said, when you put it together, I was hearing it, and I'm always curious because sometimes, like, I've done a few tracks inserting clip, but it's kind of like a last minute decision, and how you had it planned in your head. Like, I want to utilize these clips, just how am I going to utilize them and utilize them right? And
thank you.
Going on to your next one here, I wanted to talk to you about this. This one you said was a hard one for you on the album, but was Juice.
Yes.
And I have to ask for Juice is because you come in hard, and it sounds like you're calling somebody out in the track. Like, is this just a letting it out, or was there? You don't have to name the person, but is there somebody in particular you were calling out on that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
You don't have to say the name, but
no, I won't. Yes, I was absolutely calling someone out on that one. And my big brother Trent, he's like, whatever you need to use to motivate you, use it.
Yeah.
If a chicken crosses the road and that happens to motivate you to write something, use it. If someone did you wrong, use it as motivation. If someone did you right, use it as motivation. So that person, did some things, and I'm like, okay, I took it a little bit of heart, and I'm like, all right, then here we go.
Well, the best way to let it out is on the track on Bars, and like, because when I've been re-listening to your Dirty Math a lot this past week, and I'm like, who the hell's he going off on this? Because there's he even going off. I was like, I'm assuming it's got to be something that triggered this and off. I loved it because it's always a fitting track to put, especially with an album like you did with Dirty Math. The grimy sound and that way you put it together. You letting anger out on the bars and
absolutely
putting it out there. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, I'm gonna go back just a little bit. The second verse of Dirty Math, I was going at somebody on that verse too.
There's a couple purposely. I was questioning.
Yeah, that one I was going on somebody for that one too. But yeah, no names yet.
And it's funny because when you put it like that, like on Juice, you're going after somebody. It's almost in the long run you have to thank the person because the track came out awesome. So it's like, because of you, I wrote this thing.
Absolutely. And I didn't say names because it wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give them that shine and give them that power that they made me feel this way. I know it, and I took that power and I wrote some killer bars, so I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, that's the one thing.
So yes,
I'll go for it.
No, go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's the one thing with diss tracks I find is like when they shout out the other person, what are you really doing besides giving your fans the name of that person? Like, right. I would never use names on a track, because why the hell would I say their name on my album?
For sure, yeah.
You don't deserve the shout out.
Yeah, you're gonna make people go look and find out who they are. Who you talking about? And look it up. Yeah.
And they'll always put like, did he respond? So they'll check the other guys to see if he responded, and then that's how it goes. And a lot of times now, I don't know, but like you hear the Eminem, Snoop Dogg, and stuff like that. It's almost like a marketing ploy, I find, compared to like with the beefs with like Jay-Z and Nas and Tupac and Biggie. Like this was a hatred that was built, and now it seems like people are using it to gain clout in a sense, really, to almost cross promote each other. Like, are they both in on it? It's weird diss tracks today, I find.
Absolutely. Okay, so bringing that up, the whole Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem beef. Mm-hmm. I know Machine Gun Kelly went into that going, look, I'm gonna lose this fight, but I'm gonna get paid.
Yeah, and it worked.
It did. It really worked. I mean, his punk album's terrible, but anyway, you can't go after a monster like that. Who in their right mind would think that they could beat Eminem like that? You know what I'm saying? I could think of maybe two people that could give Eminem a run for his money, but Machine Gun Kelly is not one of those people.
Yeah, exactly. To be on the same tier as Eminem on the beef tracks, especially. It's
right.
Like you said, it's very few artists, and one might not win over the other, but it's just keep up with them. I remember seeing an interview years back with The Game, and they were talking to The Game, and they're asking him, like, what would you do if Eminem came? Because he was beefing with 50 at the time. What would you do if Eminem came out with the diss track? And he goes, I'd run. That guy's an absolute monster. I wouldn't try to write anything in return.
Right? Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the people that I think that can go at Eminem is R.A. the Rugged Man. I think he can. I think he really can hold his hand or hold his own. If not, do some damage to him. So shout outs to R.A.
Yeah, R.A. is always in my top, and he's one of my influences 100%. And the thing with him, though, is that he's not really a beef rapper either, but lyrically, tier for tier with Eminem, it's actually hard to choose, because one day I'll be like, holy shit, R.A.'s better than Eminem, and then the next day I'll be like, no, Eminem's better than R.A. and keep flip-flopping. Yeah, no, what a good artist to point out on that one, to go up against him.
And this, I don't want to piss him off.
Yeah.
I don't want to piss R.A. off. No, I mean, he may not be a battle rapper like that, but I'm not trying to piss him off. Nope.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, and he's been doing it for a long time.
He does.
Yeah.
Yes, he has.
And it's funny how he's changed over the years too, compared to the old R.A. that would be whipping his dick out in public. now he's got
I love where he's at now.
Yeah, you can hear it in his music too as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we'll go off of R.A. the Rugged Man, go back to your album Dirty Math. And you were talking about when you made Outpost, the Outpost song, and you put it in the kind of the middle of your project, because you thought at first it would be really hard hitting, but then you ended up with more hard hitting tracks. How did the order of your tracks come about on the album? Was that intentional to have them in the order that you put them in?
Yes. This is crazy how this happened, because once I started getting the feel for the project and I knew what was happening, I started thinking about it. And then I had to stop myself, because then I wanted to focus on finishing the project first. Mm-hmm. So I had an idea, I knew that I wanted Dragon's Lair right in the middle of the project, just because it's such a banger, and the different flavors on that track, I knew that would keep people's attention. So it wasn't until I was done, and then I sat there for like one night for probably 4 hours trying to figure out this order. Nothing worked.
Mm.
2 days later, I sit down and I said, bloop, 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 took 10 minutes. So I just think that my mind was in a different state at that time. I wasn't trying to force anything.
Yeah, it's crazy how when you focus on something so hard for so long, how it can almost like blur what you're trying to do compared to just come at it with a fresh mind, maybe a couple days
Right.
later, and then you realize like, oh, well, this puzzle piece goes here. Like that fits perfectly.
Yep.
Did I not think
Yep.
that staring at this for 3 hours last night?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating. I'm like, no. But 2 days later, 3 days later, I'm like, oh man, that was so easy.
Yeah, you kind of shake your head like, how did I not come up with this the other night? But
Right, right.
focus on something too long. Sometimes you just got to let it be natural and let it go.
Exactly.
And that led into the gallows on the gallows. Another great track, and I love the features you're pulling on this. And I know it's your track on the album, but I wanted to ask about the feature on this. It's the Fam, right? FAM.
Correct. Shout outs to Fam.
Yeah, and I'm assuming he's another one that you've known for years. And like, did he go to the Lair to drop that verse?
So the Fam is two. It's a duo.
Okay.
Johnny and Travis. So I know Travis. There's a restaurant bar that I would go to and hang out. And I don't know, my big brother and I were talking about music, and he stepped in the conversation, was like, yo, I do music too, da da da, whoop. And so then that built that relationship. So I've probably known him for probably 3-4 years. So I always want to work with him because he's good people. And when he showed me his music, I'm like, yo, and he got bars and a crazy flow. So I'm like, all right, cool. So that's the second guy. That's the second verse.
Yeah.
I haven't met Johnny, and I forgot about that. I haven't met Johnny either. But that came about. I sent them the beat, and they came up with the topic.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to do anything for the topic. They came up with it, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'll run with that. And it worked out because I did want to do a song COVID related. I just didn't know how to do it. So this presented itself. I'm like, cool. I got it done without even trying.
Yeah, and you're saying with doing the song COVID related, you also want to do it in a different way, because ever since it happened, you know, every punchline now is about COVID-19 or it's COVID.
Right.
Every artist did it, so you had to find a way
Right.
to make it stand out. And you said like you sent them the beat, they came up with it, and that was actually going to lead to my next question: is with your features, do you write intended for a feature, or it's like you just have an open verse and then you think to yourself, oh, Lyric Croft will fit well on this, or the Fam will fit well on this? Do you write the song knowing you want them on it?
So I'm gonna shock you here. I don't even write anything. I hear the beat and I hear the person on it, and then I send them the beat. So if they're down with the beat, then I know that I'm like, all right, cool. Then I can go and write to whatever. Or if they write first, then however it works. So I hear a beat, I hear the person, send it. They say yes, good. They say no, then I move on with it. But yeah, I don't even write anything for the most 99% of the time. There's nothing written. That's
different than a lot of mostly everybody from the group would always, you know, send you their verse first. But it's true when even when I was doing the Global Domination album, I was like, when I wanted JP on a track or something, I wrote specifically for that it would fit him on it, or with
Gotcha.
other artists in the thing. So it's but you're right, with the beat, you got to make sure, because a lot of people are picky with the beat, and you should be.
Yep.
Because, you know, it's nothing against the artist, but they send you something, you're just like, I'm not feeling the beat. It has nothing to do with,
right.
with you. It's just, I can't feel this right now, and I don't want to destroy the song or ruin the song.
Right.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah, so okay, go back to Dragon's Lair. I knew I wanted Jamal on that, and I knew I wanted Habit on it, so that was just gonna be the three of us. So I sent Jamal the beat, and he had his verse done first, and then I was like, yo, we just murdered this, are you kidding me? So then I wrote my verse, and the reason why I put my verse first is because I wanted to set the tone for this song. And then just how the flavors were on that song. Sorry, we're going back to Dragon's Lair, but the flavors that were on it, I wanted it to feel a certain way and have a certain, okay, because it went from spitter to nice, easy, relaxed flow.
Yeah.
Spitter, nice, easy, relaxed flow, and then spitter. So yeah, it just gave it another feel for it. But again, that's another song that I sent Jamal the beat, and he wrote it, and I'm like, all right, cool, setting the tone. I like it.
Yeah, it works nice like that, especially because like that had Jamel, it had Habit, it had Chronos, such 3 different styles. And I love when you can get that on a track, like even with the cypher or something, it's just everybody's own style, and but it all suits the beat, but in their own particular way. And like you said, the smooth, hard spitter, it worked out really nicely. It gives you that break from those it's a nice sounding track, 100%.
Yeah, shout out to Nick Coleone, and shout out to Chronos for rocking that track. It was dope.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I forgot Nick Corleone was on the track, but yeah.
Oh no, it's all good.
And talking about a nice track, this one is OG on Game, and this track, you can tell. I was gonna ask you what was the most emotional track you had to write for the album, but I knew what your answer was gonna be. And how important was this song to you? Because it's calling your dad up at the beginning of the song, and it kind of it's like its own song on the album, because it's not the Dirty Math style, but it's a shout out to your dad. Like, how important is that track for you?
Man, that track is so important to me. I'm even getting emotional thinking about it. So he means so much to me. And that's why I call it OG. OG, it kind of had a double entendre on it, because OG is like, old school gangster. But I changed it to On Game, because he has taught me so much. He's given me so much knowledge, and he just sprinkles that game throughout my life. And there are some times where I was 18 years old, and he gave me some game, and I didn't use it until I was 28, just because I didn't quite get it. Yeah. So I'm forever still learning from stuff he has said 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah, I hear you.
So yeah, I really wanted to do something special for that. And I owe that to Habit, because I love that beat. And I'm just sitting here going, what am I going to do with this beat? And he says, why don't you write a song about your dad? Because you talk about him all the time. Why don't you do that? And it didn't come to my mind because this album was so hard. It was so, it was going in this direction that I'm like, I don't know if I could pull that off. And he's like, yeah, do it. So then I'm like, all right, cool. So then my mind started spinning, and I didn't want to do like a regular, oh, I love my dad kind of song. So I'm like, this will be a dope way to get this message across and not be corny, but yet still have a nice feel about it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna call him, and he's not gonna answer, and I'm gonna leave a voice message. So that's how that song came about.
Yeah, the whole concept of that, and you did some lines. I'm trying to remember off of my head, but one was like, you did some lines like, you're like a canopy, always looking over me. Like, that was so brilliant, man, put together. And like,
thank you.
How did it fall on that? I'm trying to remember. A tighter grip than gravity. Like, how you did that, man. And like you said, it like when you were thinking about it, it was like, does it fit on this album? But in my opinion, it really did, because it brought like the Bobby Mercer side out of it, and like it got to know you better. And I appreciate you putting that on the album, because I love my dad to death. He's the most important thing, one of the most important people in my life. And like you said, they teach you so much. And even when I was younger, you don't listen to when you're younger until you become a man and you realize, oh shit, he was right.
Yep.
No, man, it was a good idea to put that on there for sure.
Yeah, thank you. It was funny because my dad just came out to visit me right around 420. And so I had to work, and then I came home. And so I only got like 2 hours of sleep, and I just stayed up. And my dad's like, you probably should take a nap. Well, we actually say snap. You should probably take a snap. which is a short nap.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, no, I'll be good. And I had to go to work. I'm at work 2 hours, and I text him like, yeah, I should have listened. I should have took a snap. So even now, he knows best. You know what I mean? So it's
no
still
matter
funny.
what, you're always going to be their kid, and they're always going to be the dad. And
absolutely.
Especially on our experience, most times they're right. So you got to listen. They went through life, and they know their kids.
Absolutely.
Like when you did that song, you put it on the album. It came about the idea. Was it hard for you to let yourself out like that on the album?
It wasn't hard, just because this is something that if you know me, you know that this is that guy.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about dad. So it wasn't hard to put it on it. It was hard to write it, because then I had to go back and touch those memories. And in the part in the song where I said, you got me crying, I really literally started crying when I wrote that part right before it.
Yeah.
And it was very hard emotionally to get through that. Even after I recorded it, listening to it just brought me to tears. It probably took good 25 times to listen to it before I stopped crying.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not, you know what? I don't even care. Yeah, I cry for my dad. I ain't mad at that.
It gives me the memory when I wrote my song "Never Want to See You Cry" about my girl, and her father passed away. So I did this whole song dedicated to him looking down on us, and I teared up immensely writing that song. And I literally went up to her and asked her permission. Like, I finished this song. I don't know if I did it just to release myself, or should I put it out there? Like, should I let people into our lives like that? And she told me, the way you did it and the tears were coming on the thing is that people are going to feel that when you release it. And that's very important in music, is that she goes, go for it. I know it's our lives, but people are going to feel this because you put all your feeling into it. And you can hear that on OG for your track.
Thank you. And you know, I know we rap, and I know some people are trying to have an image, you know, they're hard and they do this and do all that.
Yeah.
You know, we all got moms, we all got dads, we all got sisters or brothers.
Yeah.
We got cousins or nephews, nieces, whatever. We all got those family members in our lives that you know, that we love them so much that if something bad would have happened to them, you know, we cry. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Don't worry about your feelings. You know, just do you. Don't worry about your feelings. Just get in it. Get in it.
That's the most important thing with this whole genre of music, any genre of music, is be yourself. Like, I didn't fit into the hard hip hop rap crowd when I was younger. I was a nerdy kid when I was younger. You know, I had my big glasses on, and I still be writing in my notepad. But yeah, I just stayed true to me. I wasn't talking about representing the streets or anything like that.
Right.
What do I know about that? And just because other people were doing it. Yeah. So
I feel you on that.
So we already talked a bit about Outpost 31. So we got that going through. But this is actually a bonus track on your thing you were talking about earlier, Land Rover.
Yes.
On Bandcamp, that's not on there, but on Spotify it is. Were you always planning to have bonus tracks to the thing, or was this one, like you said, you're having a hard time putting it together and then finally it came about kind of track, or was it planned to be a bonus?
It was not planned to be a bonus. It literally was the last song that was done for the project. So it was not planned. I just couldn't get the mix properly done. So I sent it to Jamal, but I wanted to make that February 5th date on Bandcamp. So I was like, yep, I'll just put it on the bonus track for the streaming services. So that it worked out that way. Yeah,
and it's a good thing to do that I noticed a lot of people are doing. I've done it even on my latest ones, is that when you release on Bandcamp or whatever, is to have those bonus tracks, because it gives people the incentive also. Like if you were to purchase the album or wherever, you get like 3 bonus tracks. So some people are doing a whole bonus CDs. And it's a creative way of doing it, because in reality, not a lot of people purchase albums anymore. It's kind of a lost thing. We have our selections. Yes. I love getting the BTB member albums, but not a lot of people. It's all Spotify, right? So it's a creative idea to always have the bonus tracks on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Dana Kopp killed that verse.
Mad respect to Dana Copperfield, man. You guys introduced him to me through this crew. He got drawn for an interview. I respected him even more after that interview. What a cool, down-to-earth guy, man. I had a blast talking with him. And
he
creative.
He murdered that verse. Oh yeah, he is. He is super creative. I actually had that verse done. Like I knew I wanted him on it. I had a title for it. I already had my verse second, and I already had the movie clip before my verse and the movie clip after my verse. I want to hear his verse to find out what movie clip I'm putting before his verse. But when he gave it back to me, he literally was like this, man, I'm kind of mad I gave that verse. It's a banger. And when I heard it, I was like, I mean, I'm not mad that you gave it to me. And yes, it is a banger. He just murdered that verse.
Yeah, he really did. And good thing you put it on, even in the long run, if it wasn't ready for the Bandcamp release, it's out there, because that was a great track. And then
it was go ahead. Sorry.
No, go for it.
No, it was also something after OG where I got back into like, all right, now I'm grimy again.
Yeah, it did have that feel. Like you went right back into it, and Copperfield, just like you said, man, what a great verse. And I can't say actually at first, because when you send me the album, I appreciate you doing that, by the way, man. Like you sent it to me because I still burn CDs from my vehicle. So like I don't plug in my phone. I still put it on CD. So when you did that, I was like, yes, I can put it on and bump to it and have it on my computer. So I really, but I don't think Land Rover was on it. And even when I went to check out Bandcamp through for this interview, I was listening to the songs that wasn't on it. And then yesterday it was actually, I put it on through Spotify, and then I saw it on there, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I heard this one yet. So it was a pleasant treat when you go on a different platform. You're like, wait, there's more.
Right. I will actually resend you everything because there's some different mixes since the first time I sent it. So I'll send you all the new stuff so you can burn that and play that in your car. And thanks for bumping that.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I'll constantly bump. Like I said, it's hard for me to always go back on certain albums just because it's always new. People trying to get trying to prepare for interviews, right? So I always go on like whoever I'm interviewing. I go on a few day spree of just constantly listening to theirs. But Dirty Math and a few others are definitely ones I've always went back to, and I appreciate you. That meant a lot. And now we're ending it. I think it was your actually the last track on the album, The Natural. And this one is probably, I would say, in the whole album, the most horrorcore kind of track on this. Like this one went violent. You're talking about murdering and blood and all, and like it's just putting it on there. Why did you want to make this your last track on the album?
Because I didn't want to scare nobody.
How bad is your intro?
Yeah, I didn't want to scare nobody. And if people would have heard that anytime before the last song, they probably would have stopped listening to the project. Because that's so, I've never, ever done a song like that, ever. And so I knew that was going to be the last one.
Kind of building up for it, going on the top of the roller coaster, going up, and then it's The Natural. It's like you're going for the ride. You're
here now. Like, it hurt some people's feelings. There's some people that I'm close to that it hurt their feelings, and I was like, sorry. But this one, oh man, this was a long time coming. There was a person that I worked with when I was back in Wisconsin, and he was just a terrible person, super terrible person. And he just was one of those guys that would come up somehow if I'm online or whatever, just every now and again, and I'm like, gosh, dang it. And so he raps, and I recorded, produced, mixed everything, his first project, except for like one beat on his project. I think it had like 17, 18 songs on it. But he's just bad people. My dog never growled or barked at anybody. Every time this dude came over to the house, my dog growled and barked at him. So I should have known. So the first verse is all about him. And he's a baseball guy, so that's where the baseball references come in.
Yeah.
He had a song called Lyrical Genius. He had a song called Prince of Darkness. So I am retaking back all that because those are songs that I produced for him on his first project. So I'm just taking all that shit back. And then the second verse is a culmination of women who have done me wrong. So it's not one particular woman. It's just all the women who have done me wrong in some way. It just sounds like one woman, but that's how sometimes I get angry.
Sometimes it can't all be one woman, which is crazy.
No, for sure. So that was just my movie mind working on a rap. You know what I mean? So we all see horror movies. We see killing, movies that kill people and this, that, third. So that was just my artful way of putting this stuff out there.
Yeah, it's not. Some people, like you said, you did hurt people's feelings, or people would get offended by that kind of track. But like you said, there's so much more violence going on in a movie or something. And this guy actually filming and directing, who wrote the script too. But all we're doing is writing in rhyme form. Because when I first started hip hop, I just rapped almost pure horrorcore. I'd print to show you my old stuff just because I didn't, I was younger, I was 14, 15. I didn't really have big life experiences or anything. So I just figured, I'm going to write about being this random serial killer going off and just murdering everybody. And that's how I wrote all my songs. And my dad would look at me and just shake his head. He goes, why don't you write something that has importance?
All right. So a horrorcore fan, what'd you think of the song?
I loved it. I thought it was perfect. That's why I was, like you said, you put at the end, which is very smart, because as I started it off, it would turn a lot of people off that are not expecting it, especially going through your old tracks and what they're used from you. Like you said, like you didn't rap like this in a lot of your old, and so it would have definitely. But for me, I loved it. I still love horrorcore music to this day. I've always been a big fan. To me, it's playing a movie out in your head, like you said it. Doesn't matter how crude you grow, how crude you go, or how rough you go. It's a movie playing. What's the difference in watching Saw in the theater, in the movies, where guys are getting tortured right in front of your eyes?
Absolutely. Yeah, because when I wrote that, because I got that beat came from DJ Element. Shout out to DJ Element. He's a dope individual. And so I was bugging him, and he finally sent me that beat. And when I heard it, some kind of movie came in my mind right away. I was like, all right. And then when I wrote it and then recorded it, I sent it to him and I said, hey, I'm apologizing to you now because I'm sure this is not what you expected on your beat.
What did he say?
So that was dope. No, he just laughed. He just laughed at me. He was like, it's all good.
Oh man, that was a good way. Like the whole album kind of built up to it, really. Like when you said you put it at the end, you're going up that roller coaster ride, and then right at the end, it's the drop, and it ends with. I honestly will say that's one of my favorite outro skits, even though it's only 6 seconds. But what was said on it, there was nothing more that had to be said, and it hyped you up for what was coming next. That outro skit, perfect, man. To my fans, perfect. I couldn't say it any better. That was just quick, to the point. You haven't heard anything yet. You haven't heard nothing yet. That gives you like the chill. Like, okay, what's coming? I'm excited.
Oh, absolutely. Not only just the visuals that are going to come, but also the next project that is kind of going to come as well. It's going to be something crazy, for real. It is. I'm very, very excited for what's going to come. I'm taking time off of writing right now, just because I want to soak in, because I already know where the project's going. I already see it. I already have a few songs already recorded for it, but I'm taking my time now, soaking it in, and trying to make this line as straight as possible to the end of this next project. Also,
can't wait.
Shout out, sorry, I gotta do this. Shout out to Rick Chavez for that beat on Juice. He did that beat phenomenal beat, and he challenged me on that one because I've never double time before either.
Yeah,
Sorry,
okay.
I had to go back to it. But shout outs to him on that. But yes, next project is called Who Let the Devil In.
I was gonna ask if you had any name for it or anything for the next project. You're relaxing now, so you enjoy your time relaxing, letting that soak in, because you know I'll be waiting for it. And one thing I saw the other day, this is off the album now, but you're doing the music video for Good Cabbage, right? That's what the title is.
Wild Cabbage.
Wild Cabbage.
Yeah.
When's that music video dropping for everybody to see?
It's gonna drop on Monday for everybody to see.
Okay.
Like I put it out there for a little quick second to see
I saw
certain
it.
things. Yeah, you did. And I wasn't mad at that. And I was like, all right, cool. And luckily I didn't have to delete that one. I was just able to just set a release date for it.
Okay. And at the ending of that, actually, I won't give it away. I haven't seen it, but I'm just curious what's following it, because you know how it ended.
Yes. Where am I still there?
You're coming back.
There it is. Okay, there it is. Sorry. I'm getting some sorry, ruined everything. So I'm getting some drink. So this is a Hennessy Pure White.
Nice.
Can't get this in the States. So I'm gonna pour a little bit right now to celebrate this being the first to do video and the Dirty Math win.
Yeah,
and
man.
Chilling with you.
Enjoy it. I wish I had mine. I finished my bottle off yesterday. I got together with when I get together with my stepfather. Oh man,
Right.
We got together. We had a bottle. Played some golf on PlayStation 2.
There you go. There you go.
This morning I woke up and I was just like, oh man, I don't know if I'm feeling the greatest for an interview this afternoon, but I felt perfect after a couple hours.
Well, you did good. You did good. And thank you.
I'll give you a cheers with my beer down here.
Mm-hmm.
You're very welcome, man. That was a well-deserving win.
Thank you.
Like I said, the production on it, to the lyrics, to the way it was structured, the features. I don't know what else to say, but you deserve that win, man. I really
thank you.
And I cannot wait for what's coming next. But you know, with this show, you're on it before, and we end it with the segment for Name Your Bars. So you did this in the first episode, and you actually got 5 out of 5. So I decided it's gonna still be on the Dirty Math album, but I'm gonna switch it up for you, and let's see if you can name your features bars.
Okay.
What I'm gonna do is just read a bar out from one of the features on your track. Tell me who the feature was and what track that bars were from.
All right. I'm gonna take this right now. I'm definitely gonna get drunk on this one. There's lots of shots gonna have for this one. All right. Let's do it.
We're gonna start with number 1 here. I got my notes off to the side here, so if I'm looking to the side. Stay on my shit, so I'm just a little violent. Rule the whole city, something like a tyrant.
I believe that's Kronos on Dragon Flare.
Yes, it is. Kronos on Dragon Flare. It's a little more nerve-wracking when it's not your bars. You're like, shit, I better remember his bar.
Right, for sure. You got me nervous.
All right, second one we got here is the guillotine is chopping, 2020 bodies are dropping.
I want to say that's Bad Habit on So Automatic.
You're right. That's on So Automatic.
Damn you. I thought I missed it. Okay.
I was going to say no, but I didn't want to play with your emotions like that.
The hesitation played with my emotions. So that did good on that one. I'm like, damn, I got that wrong.
All right. We're going, so 2 for 2. We're going for number 3 now.
Okay.
A turn of events better make you come correct. Bet I make you rethink about that S on your chest.
Oh, that's Lyric Croft, Black Mafia.
Yes, it is.
No, yeah. She killed that verse so good. Oh, wow.
Yeah, she did. I'm hoping, I'm assuming she might be on your next album as well. So I would love to hear more of her for sure.
Of course.
Number 4 here is U87, I'm 91 octane, you know the name.
Jamal Shane,
Yes,
Dragon's Lair. Man, yeah, that's one of my favorite lines of his.
Yeah, I was like,
Motherfuckers, you ain't
damn.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he killed that.
Yeah. And we're on the fifth one, man. You know your features so far, so let's see if you don't leave this fifth one out.
Right?
Domino Effect, I'm catching wreck and rocking all the shows.
Domino Effect. Wow. Ooh, I'm gonna get this one wrong. I know I am. I want to. Okay, read it again for me.
It's Domino Effect, I'm catching wreck and rocking all the shows.
All right, I'm gonna be wrong, but I hope I'm not. I'm gonna go David Copperfield on Land Rover.
You got it, man. Nice work.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
for a perfect 5 for 5. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
There you go. You did it again. Look at you, 10 for 10 after 2 episodes.
I ain't mad. I pay attention.
Yeah, that one would
That was good.
be a lot
That
more
was good though.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Good one. I didn't think that was gonna happen today, but good one. All right, good on you.
I had to put a little twist on it for you to see if you knew the features on it. Not to get you in trouble if you got one wrong. I just wanted to put a little twist on it.
Nope. And yes, my heart was racing. I'm glad you didn't tell me I was gonna do that beforehand, because I'd have been like, nope, I'm not doing an interview. But it worked out. Okay, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, but when I told you that last night or this morning, you would have ran through every track with your features on. I can't get this wrong.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna play it right now. Who is this?
Well, perfect, man. That was your BTB Awards special episode. That's all I got to bring up for your dirty math. You got all the bars. Congratulations on the album. Congratulations on the award. And thank you for creating it, man, and for coming on. That was awesome.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thank you very much for, again, having me on the show. Also, fantastic job on Bring the Bars Award show, man. That was phenomenal.
Thanks, man.
I watch it now that's been up. I watch it at least once every 3 days, just because. I mean, you did a fantastic job with that. You putting that together. You did a really good job. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
You really hit the nail on the head on that one, man. And I think it surprised a lot of people. I think
so too.
Yeah, I don't think people were ready for the amount of work and effort and energy and sacrifice that you put in to do that show and to do these shows. So I really appreciate you. This is something you're very, very good at. I promise you. You have a future in this for sure.
That means a lot, because when I was putting it together, I went to school for video editing. That's what I went to school for.
Okay.
And I've edited like newscasts and hockey highlights and stuff like that. When I had my 2 passions of music and editing, I thought the best way to do it the award show. And it was a lot of work, but I had such a blast doing it, combining the 2 passions and to put it in. And like you said, I don't think people were expecting it to be so like the way it turned out. I was really proud of it. Now I'm worried for next year because I got to top it somehow. I don't really know.
I think you're fine. I think you're going to be good. I really do. I think that's like doing music. How you're going to top the next project? You know, just do you. Continue to do you. I think you're going to smash it next time as well. The only problem I had with the award show, if you don't mind me saying, was what was it? Most Alone interrupting the damn show. What the? How do you even get there?
I don't know what's going on. The guy just shows up in Canada while I'm filming this shit and drinking and drunk, and he just, man, I was trying to like hand out awards. I didn't have time for that. Too.
Once I finally have the conversation with him, because he can't be doing that kind of shit.
Yeah, because I've seen him talking with you on your studio story and stuff like that. So next time you talk to him, give him a little smack, tell him to smarten up. And
oh, I will.
Yeah, I better not see him next year on the BTB Awards, I tell you.
I hope not.
All right, man. I'm gonna let you go and enjoy your afternoon. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'll drop this. This will be coming out next Thursday, our interview, and like I said, it'll be a two-parter. So I'll be running the tracks in between, like I do in the other shows, but this was video.
Perfect.
So just letting you know. And yeah, thanks, man.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for your time, man.
Absolutely, man. Take care.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right. Bye.
All right. Peace.